this, especially spending some of your afternoon on a, at least from where we are, the sun's coming out, so it's a little bit better outside. But I just wanted to say thank you all for your time and your interest in our session. You could have chosen just about any session out of the list, and we're pleased and honored that you've chosen ours. As I said, I'm waiting on my colleague, but I will go ahead and kind of get started with introducing myself. My name's Imani Powell, and this session here is to talk a little bit about the University of Delaware's Teachers of Tomorrow program. The title of our session, of course, is Diversifying the Teacher Pipeline. This will be presented by, of course, myself and Ms. Taylor at the 3rd Annual New Jersey Convening for Diversifying the Teacher Workforce. So this is my first time being exposed to your conference, but I certainly wanted to say thanks to the committee for selecting our session. And we wanted to be able to make sure that we serve this program and serve this conference well. So our session is really to introduce you to our program, share some of our experiences, especially as it relates to the development of our program, some of the practices, as well as to encourage collaboration. And possible if you are in a position where you would like to create a program like this, or if you work within programs like this, for us to be able to share some thoughts, some ideas of best practice, and encourage that. So I want to go on forth and start with a kind of more formal introduction. Just wanted to make sure, did Deandra come in just yet? Okay.
Yes, I'm here.
Oh, excellent. Good to see you. I don't know where where everything would go, but would you like to go ahead and start maybe to introduce yourself directly?
Sure, thank you. My name is Deandra Taylor, and I'm the program coordinator for the Teachers of Tomorrow program. I assist with coordinating programming efforts, as well as I lead the college and career readiness workshops for our students. And I assist in managing the communications with parents, students, as well as educators. I'm also a graduate assistant that works in the Dean's office for the College of Education and Human Development, and I'm a doctoral candidate in the Educational Leadership EDD program.
All right, my name is Imani Powell. I'm the program manager for Teachers of Tomorrow. In my general capacity, I serve as an academic advisor within our college, focusing on students within our majors, human services, elementary teacher education, as well as early childhood education, but also advising students who are a part of our disability studies minor. For the purposes of Teachers of Tomorrow, I serve as program manager who's responsible for things like planning and implementation of the program, staff hiring, leadership. We have a variety of workshops. Deandra actually hosts the College and Career Readiness Workshop. I myself host the leadership workshop and also do some additional leadership, logistic planning. We're happy to see that our program director is here, sitting in on the session as well. She doesn't have to introduce herself, but we are happy to have Ms. Christine Ritz, who serves as our Senior Assistant Dean for the College of Education and Human Development, as the program director. Her position is within Teachers of Tomorrow is realistically to oversee all aspects of Teachers of Tomorrow. She provides much guidance as well as direction to myself and Ms. Taylor or Deandra as we throw out our ideas and present some thoughts of how we want to have this program run and put together. So we just want to say thank you. And for those, there may be a couple other University of Delaware members or staff members for the College of Education, Human Development, and many other areas. We just want to say thanks for joining us. We really appreciate it. One of the things I did not get a chance to do very quickly, because this is my understanding is this is a conference for New Jersey, just to give a little bit of context for those who may not be fully familiar with the University of Delaware. Just a quick rundown of saying that we are kind of on the larger end of a mid-sized institution, but we are state-assisted Research One institution with both undergraduate as well as graduate programs. We are located in Newark, Delaware, spelled the same as Newark, New Jersey, but we are Newark, Delaware, and this is in Newcastle County, or the northern county of our 3 counties. Our university is broken out into 10 colleges and schools. The College of Education and Human Development is just one of them. And we offer 4 majors within our college. And Teachers of Tomorrow is a program, pipeline program to help serve some of the programs within the College of Education and Human Development. So for the purposes of our session today, just wanted to provide you all with a little bit of historical background and context. Why was this program created? Why is this important? We also wanted to talk about what we have done with our program and talk about our intentions, as well as the eligibility, who we were seeking out within this program, the entire recruitment and selection process. We also, as I mentioned earlier, want to share some of our experiences within the program, as well as some of the benefits and outcomes, and where we see our program going within the next couple of years. So that's a little bit of a quick session overview. And for some further detail, I want to turn it over to Deandra.
Thank you. Nationally, students of color make up nearly 41% of the public school population, while only 14.6% of the teacher workforce is made up of teachers of color. In addition, 40% of public schools in the United States do not have a single teacher of color, and there is a national need for African American male teachers in particular. Research shows that teachers of color help close achievement gaps for students of color and are highly rated by students of all races. So why aren't more students of color entering the teaching field? Studies found that it was because incentives and social mobility were low in comparison to other careers, and gaining access and succeeding in the teaching field were viewed as challenging. Other studies noted that attitudes towards their educational experiences, cultural and community concerns were common themes that emerged for why students were not going into the teaching field. One of the ways in which high schools and colleges are trying to get more students to change their mind about teaching is through the development of pathways or pipeline programs. Teacher education programs at the University of Delaware and across the nation struggle to recruit future teachers from underrepresented backgrounds. The map shown on the screen highlights the percentage of teachers of color in a state-by-state analysis conducted in 2018 by the Learning Policy Institute. While most states along the southern part of the United States have over 30% teachers of color, as shown by the darker shades, Delaware has only 8%, while neighboring states such as Maryland and New Jersey had 29% and 19% respectively. In 2016-2017, only 15% of all UD teacher education candidates were from an underrepresented minority background. During the same year, the College of Education and Human Development updated their strategic plan, and one of their 5 goals was to recruit, develop, retain, and promote a diverse student body. In order to do this, the college planned to form partnerships with more diverse institutions to create feeder programs into their programs. However, a challenge they experienced was the growing competition of other in-state programs and out-of-state colleges, with similar missions partnering with the same programs and the affordability of those colleges. The College of Education and Human Development recognizes the immense need for diversity in the teacher workforce and has created their own teacher pipeline program to help fill this gap.
So as Deandra mentioned, teacher education programs across the country have struggled to recruit promising future teachers from underrepresented backgrounds. Just to give some more examples of some of the things going on at University of Delaware, looking at May 2017, 4 out of 110 elementary teacher education and 0 of 27 early childhood education program majors were males. However, research points to the importance of children experiencing positive male role models. Only 15% of all University of Delaware teacher education candidates, this includes early childhood education, elementary teacher education, and secondary education programs, were from a URM population or underrepresented minority population. Research continues to point to the impact of people of color, that impact people of color can make upon their students as it relates to graduation rates as well as college attendance. As Ms. Taylor also mentioned, there have been plenty of reasons why students are discouraged from teaching. But just to talk about some other points, messages of low pay, witnessing high turnover rates in their schools due to dysfunctional workplaces, as well as burnout, and even past attitudes toward their own educational experience. The purpose of Teachers of Tomorrow is to increase the diversity of teacher candidates, particularly males in early and elementary education, members of underrepresented minority groups, as well as, increasing those candidates within our programs in order to shift the tide of low representation. While the University of Delaware will benefit from increases in student populations and meeting the inclusive excellence and success goals through establishing this pipeline program, we believe that young people will benefit from having instructors who may look like them, share common experiences, and see teaching in a different light. We seek to stress the importance of having diverse voices seen and heard, as it can make an impact on the curriculum, relationships between school officials and faculty toward the students, confront racism in teaching, as well as increase advocacy. In seeing these challenges, our former dean, Carol Vukolich, submitted a grant proposal to the Unidel Foundation requesting resources and funding to launch Teachers of Tomorrow as a pipeline strategy to increase interest and engagement in teaching as a profession, particularly for underrepresented students. And this grant request was designed to fund a 2-year project, but was granted an extension to a 3rd year. What we want to do next is give you a little bit of a video to show some testimony and provide some additional information about Teachers of Tomorrow. I hope everyone can see our video.
I feel like a teacher of tomorrow is somebody that sees teaching as something they would love to do and not as a job just to get paid. I feel if this generation is inspired to be a teacher, then we can really help the generation that's coming up behind us to do better than we did already, you know?
I think a teacher of tomorrow is someone who understands who they are before they teach others. I've always aspired to be a teacher, but I didn't know what exact steps I should take.
Teachers of Tomorrow is an important program that hopefully will diversify our teacher candidates here at the University of Delaware, which will ultimately diversify our classrooms.
Having students from underrepresented backgrounds can make a big influence and a big impact on the way that teaching occurs in the classroom, redirect some of the curriculum, and include some of their own voices so that they can connect with today's students.
Gives access to students that may not have already had access to these type of programs, and introduces them to the college life and lets them see themselves here on campus.
I wanted to be a part of the Teachers of Tomorrow program because I have aspirations to become a teacher, but I wasn't entirely too sure what specific area I wanted to focus on.
Really good for exploring if you're not sure what you want to do when you're in college, because it gives you a bunch of different options and pathways that you could go down. And it's a really good program to get out of your shell.
I'm definitely a shy person, but I think I opened up more to new people.
I walked in here and it was just like 20 people and we were all sitting on our phones. And then by dinner time the next day, we were like best friends.
While I know we're in our infancy with this program, we really are seeing dramatic changes in students.
I've learned a lot about myself personally. Being a part of this program, we have built such a community and support system between each other. So I've learned a lot about myself. I've learned a lot about others, a lot about UD that I didn't know, which was super cool.
What's unique about the program, it's community and the unity that we have with each other.
You just kind of look past all the judging and you just kind of see how great everyone is, and you form a lot of cool relationships. I really like that.
This stands out as a program that really created a personal relationship with the students.
Students want to be successful and they want to see each other be successful.
I'm more passionate about becoming a teacher. It prepares you more for the future generation.
The students within the University of Delaware are very passionate about teacher education. We're developing students with that same passion or more through this Teachers of Tomorrow program in hopes that they will continue to grow and will continue to thrive as teacher educators.
We greatly appreciate the Unidel grant that we received in order to run our Teachers of Tomorrow program. Without this, we really couldn't be able to offer this opportunity to students free of cost. So it's very important that future donors continue to give us that support so that we can continue to nourish our students as well as help them to grow and to learn in the teaching field.
It really solidified what I want to do in my future.
I look at teachers a whole different way now.
Helped me to strive to be the person I am now, bigger, better, more of a leader.
This program has been the best opportunity of my life. I wouldn't trade it for anything, but if I could, I'd go back and do it over and over again because it was just that great.
So we're very proud of our students. That was just a glimpse into some of the students that we've come across and have been able to serve with pleasure through the Teachers of Tomorrow program. Just to kind of give you an idea of our program, of how our program is set up, we divided our program into two phases. I want to spend a little bit of time focusing on our first phase. Our application process, or as we were putting this program together and notifying students who were interested, we let them know that we were seeking out rising juniors and seniors who are Delaware residents coming from underrepresented backgrounds who had a demonstrated interest in teaching as a profession. The students that we received and recruited, of course, were mixed within their enthusiasm for this calling. Some were ready to teach right away. They were ready to tell us what lessons they were putting together and put me in a classroom tomorrow. And then there were, of course, some students who were trying to decide between maybe one program and another program. So they're testing the water. Ultimately, we wanted to focus on raising awareness of teaching as a profession and the value of teaching as a profession, but also to highlight the complexities of teaching. And this includes leadership opportunities. This includes the relationship building and development. We also wanted to stress the importance of critical thinking, recognizing the other forces that impact your work, and demonstrating this profession is one that is multi-layered and complex, just like any other profession. Just to talk about phase one of our program, it is a 2-week summer institute that includes an introduction to teacher education and university programming. This includes a focus on the early childhood education, elementary teacher education program, as well as secondary education opportunities. But also, so we provided an overview of that, but also an overview of specialized programming that we offer, including the elementary teacher education associate in arts program, as well as opportunities for teaching experiences that are right on the University of Delaware's campus, like our children's campus, which includes an early learning center, as well as as well as a lab preschool. We also provide academic enrichment. We believe that students, that the work that they do in writing and mathematics is foundational to college course success. So students who do well in their writing courses as well as mathematics courses are more likely to succeed in their courses outside of those subjects. So we also have 2 academic workshops run, one of which is in writing, the other in mathematics. We also provide advisement and coaching to our students, and this advisement and coaching comes in the form of the support networks that we create. This includes our peer staff who are upperclassmen at the university within a variety of majors, within the majors we have within our college, but also ongoing mentoring, as well as the activities that we do in our residence halls and also in and around campus, helping to build a community of support. Speaking of the residence halls, this is a residential experience that we believe was important to and critical to community development. Just to give you the heads up, we do everything together. This includes our workshops, this includes dining together, this includes any activities that we do on or off campus, as well as our study hall and anything else. So we spend our entire days with one-to-one contact with our students, or face-to-face contact with our students. One of the things that is very important to me and near and dear to me is our leadership development component of our program. We help our students to identify themselves as leaders, identify qualities as leaders as well, and places in areas in which they thrive, but also areas in which they need to develop. And we also spend much time on self-reflection in order to help become better leaders. Deandra, she coordinates our college and career readiness sessions. And those address ways to navigate the college application process, providing tips on completing their application to college, learning some of the language that is used in the college admission process, setting goals, and also writing a personal statement, among many other things.
There are 5 core recruitment strategies that we use. We created a database of over 1,200 Delaware teachers, school leaders, and school counselors that we sent our information via email periodically during our recruitment cycle. We worked to build relationships with the Delaware Teacher Academy leaders, Educator Rising staff members, and UD's Office of Admissions. These connections helped us to get our program out to a wider audience of students and parents. Through our connection with the Office of Admissions, we're able to track our students during the application and enrollment process. We host and attend events to promote our program, including the Educators Rising Conference, and by creating our own Future Educators Visitation Day. We also send emails to parents to gain their support and provide follow-up calls to students and parents. For our selection process, we first reviewed applications for completion and sent weekly reminders to those with incomplete applications. Once the deadline passed, we reviewed the completed applications to ensure that students met the eligibility requirements of being a Delaware resident and a rising senior or junior in high school. All students that had completed the application on file and met these requirements were invited to participate in an interview. During our interview process, we wanted to learn more about the students' demonstrated interest in teaching, leadership and mentoring abilities, self-confidence and motivation, their exposure to diverse backgrounds, and their interpersonal skill development. Once all the interviews concluded, the program staff met for final deliberations. For our final deliberations, we wanted to ensure that we had a diverse mix of students and see how the students' interviews aligned with what we had saw on their application. It was also important to us that we selected students who had various levels in regards to their demonstrated interest in teaching, and those that met the grant criteria of being an underrepresented minority or male in elementary teacher education, elementary teacher and early childhood education, or those who have a low income background. After we sent our decisions, we held an accepted students and families information session to discuss the expectations of our program and to allow the students a few days to decide if they would like to join us for the Summer Institute.
So as our students had made decisions on whether or not they'd like to attend the Teachers of Tomorrow program, I want to use the next couple slides to talk a bit about some of the experiences that we had within each of our respective cohort of students. In our first year, or our pilot year, we saw a small group to accommodate a staff led by our director as well as 2 peer staff. Just to give some background, this included, we received 28 applications from schools throughout the state of Delaware, including each of the 3 respective counties, Newcastle County, Kent County, and Sussex County. We drew mostly from public schools, but also did quite well with the vocational and technical schools, as well as some limited numbers of private and charter schools. This particular cycle, for our first group, nearly 90% of our applicants were female. Nearly 48% of our applicants were African American, with 35% identifying as white. About 21% of our applicants identified as Latin American. We selected this cohort of students through an application committee review, enrolling 10 students. 3 males, 3 African American, 1 multiracial student, and 2 Latin American students. We wanted to stress the importance of sticking to the grant criteria, but also wanted to make sure that we were representative of the state. So we had strong representation through each of the respective counties in our state. Just to give you a little bit of background, the Sometimes students in the state of Delaware, especially in our counties, in our Sussex County, which is the southernmost county, are a little bit hesitant of joining the quote unquote big city or being a part of the big city institution located up north. So we wanted to make sure that we extended our outreach directly into Sussex County through a couple of our recruitment efforts, but also our focus in terms of some of our schools. So geographic location also played a significant role in our recruitment. To speak a little bit about our second year of summer 2019, building upon our past institute, what we decided to do was to identify, actually, I'm sorry, I want to backtrack just a step. I talked about our day-to-day coordination. The 2 peer staff members, as well as our director, wanted to work toward getting the program up and running, providing foundational offerings, including the academic workshops, the personal and professional development sessions, exposure activities, which include things like tours of campus facilities, student clubs and organizations, and also doing exercises of self-reflection, including study hall, as well as an evening activity. Because we had a successful institute, we definitely felt that we were on the right track, but we needed to make some additional considerations for the next time. One of those considerations was to bring aboard a graduate assistant to help with the program and new program coordinator. So Deandra came along right after the first summer institute to offer some advisement and coaching to our students, but also to help look at our program and prepare for the recruitment of our next cohort. Just as a word of note, of the 6 seniors of this first cohort that were eligible to apply to University of Delaware, all of them applied, 5 of them were offered admission. One of the 6 students withdrew their application before a decision was made. So we had all of them apply, but we were not sure what the response would be for one of our students. But we do feel confident that the student would have been admitted to the university. In terms of the students as well, 3 out of the 5 who were offered admission chose to enroll to UD in a teacher education program. And they are currently those students are currently elementary teacher education majors. By the way, 2 of those students who were of that group were male. So we were able to see some increase in male representation in the early grades. For our second year, as I said, we wanted to build upon the past successes within the first cohort. So we decided to look at our program and add new things on each level. So we enhanced this program at each level. This included the recruitment process that we held, the size of our group, as well as extending some of the programming to really align ourselves with the mission of our program and intentions. For the second year, we received 39 applications from schools, again, throughout the state, and again, through all 3 counties. 56% of that group were rising seniors, 44% were rising juniors. So very close to kind of a half and half situation of students who were in terms of their grade level. Again, heavily drawn from public schools, but we did find some increases in the vocational and technical schools and also within the private and charter schools. Our male applicant pool increased to 25%. And also nearly 40% of our applicants identified as African-American, with nearly 10% identifying as Latin American. A slight difference in our process is that we incorporated an interview into our recruitment process and evaluation process to promote connections between the staff and students, but also to gain a deeper understanding of the applicant's fit. In the end, we enrolled 23 of 24 selected students, 7 males, 9 African-American students, 4 Latin American, and 1 Asian American student. As far as our day-to-day, this was coordinated by a larger staff, which included myself, Deandra, and Christine, along with 2 upperclassmen peer staff. We provided a full plate of programming over our days, beginning at 7 o'clock in the morning with breakfast and concluding around 11 p.m. with a closing meeting. So we went all day with our students. And that day included the academic workshops, teacher preparation program sessions, leadership development, the college and career readiness, study hall, group activity, sometimes again on campus, sometimes off campus, So we got a chance to work hard and we got a chance to play hard as well. But all of it allowed us to develop a strong community within our population. So as matters of highlight, for our eligible applicants that from cohort 2, and which included also 4 members of cohort 1, 11 of those students were offered admission and 7 of them have chosen to enroll to UD. 6 of them to teacher education programs, including elementary teacher ed, as well as a variety of the secondary ed programs available or subject matter education programs. We also had 1 enrolled to human services, which is a major within our college, as she has aspirations of being a school counselor. We also saw a sharp increase in the number of students taking University of Delaware coursework as a high school student. As of the closure of this past summer, 18 of our students involved in cohort 1 and cohort 2 have taken at least 1 University of Delaware course. And this is important because taking those courses, again, continues to reinforce the idea of continuity between high school and coming into University of Delaware as part of a pipeline. In terms of year 3, we were so excited about the successes of last year or the prior year that we intended to repeat our efforts and grow our group even larger in terms of our students as well as our staff. So we aimed to have our program manager, our program coordinator, our director, plus 5 peer staff members, because we were looking to grow the size of the students that we serve. We revised the functionality of the application itself to allow a better experience for our users, and this led to an applicant pool of 66 students, which is up from 39. Still representative of the state and the variety of schools throughout the state of Delaware. Also notable were that some of our applicants were recommended to apply through word of mouth from past participants in our program and in terms of direct contact, along with past applicants who weren't initially selected for cohort 2, returning to the applicant pool as rising seniors. As far as race and gender were concerned, the pool remained similar to the prior year. Our male applicants remained steady to last year at 25%, as did Latin American students. There was also an increase in African American applicants compared to last year. So it was 42% in cohort 3, 40% in the second year. But with the rise of numbers of applications, we were aiming to have a larger group of about roughly 35 to 45 students. But our plans, however, were impacted with concerns over the impact that the coronavirus would have on university operations. Our president issued a mandate that all summer activities and courses were to be delivered in a virtual environment. So you can imagine that this was a bit of a wedge for us because of the importance of developing our community, which heavily relied upon our face-to-face interaction in the residence halls, in their workshops, and on campus. So we had to scale back a bit, but we were able to provide a program to our students that was certainly strong and fulfilling. Of the offers that we were able to make to our students through our virtual interviews, we had 4 of those students decline the offer, but we were able to bring forth a class of about 22 students, the majority of them being seniors, 9 of which were African American, 5 Latin American, and 3 males. So we aim for representation across the board. The delivering of the content in a virtual environment proved to be a challenge, but in consultation with Deandra and with Christine, we were able to make some modifications with both of our programming, with both the program itself and student engagement in mind. We were able to offer a fulfilling program that kept much of its core mission while navigating uncertain terrain. And this included our teacher program information sessions, leadership, college and career readiness, as well as activities for community building. We were able to do those things even in a virtual experience. So things that we used to be able to do in terms of our evening activities that were done either on campus or off campus, we were able to bring in some fun activities and engaging activities virtually. What we were not able to offer this cycle were the academic workshops in writing and mathematics, but we felt that our students could get exposure to college course expectations by actually taking college level courses in the summer following our summer institute. We also took some time to consider shortening our day in order to reduce Zoom fatigue. Also, we've incorporated a new session called Connections Corner that exposed our students to individuals in a variety of capacities in education, including principals, community advocates, higher education faculty, as well as school board members. This also allowed new networking opportunities, and that was not offered previously to our prior cohort. Despite the challenges of the coronavirus, we were able to offer another strong program. And while we don't have admissions data at this point, because we're actually in the cycle of admissions, we are pleased to say that our students have expressed that University of Delaware is either their top choice or at least in their top 3. What we can report, however, is that there were 11 students, 3 of which came out of cohort 2, who participated in a summer college program right after our summer institute that was called the EDGE program, or EDGE Summer College. And that allowed them to take up to 7 University of Delaware credits, 2 of which were actual university courses. I'm sorry, all 3 are university courses, 2 were courses, and 1 was a first-year seminar, along with another 10 who decided they didn't want to do the EDGE program, but they still wanted to take college courses. So we had another 10 students looking at taking a summer course offered over either of our summer sessions. So we had a number of 21 students who were interested and took and successfully completed a college level course, at least one. I just want to make mention that we are insanely and very proud of the success that our students have had over the past 3 years. These have been wonderful groups to continue to work with. And we wanted to continue that relationship with our students. And that led us into creating phase 2 of our program. What the phase 2 allowed us to do was to preserve the continuity in supporting our students. We didn't simply want to offer a summer session or a summer institute and then withdraw from them and kind of leave them to be. We wanted to continue that community experience and make sure that the juniors, who would then also become seniors, wouldn't need to do yet another 2-week summer institute and experience the same information and overall experience. We wanted to create new experiences and implement supports and activities as they could progress through high school. So we served both rising seniors. We also served our junior population through things like Saturday Seminar, which are Saturday workshops that we would hold once a month that revolved around different themes that we would use during the Summer Institute. So continuing to build upon those. We also established a mentoring program in which we paired them up with upperclassmen from the University of Delaware to continue their conversation and to be able to check in on them as how they're progressing through high school. We were also able to develop some cross-departmental collaboration. I talked about the EDGE program, which is actually overseen by our our Office of Pre-College Programming at the university. Our main goal was to help continue to develop that college familiarity, not just that college familiarity that includes being on a university campus, but even more importantly, being at the University of Delaware College campus. Just want to kind of quickly go over another couple quick facts before I turn over to Deandra. We've seen increases over the last 5 years with regard to diversity within our students. Our numbers have grown each year, specifically within the areas of elementary teacher education as it relates to Latino students or Latinx students, in education and early childhood education. We've seen some upswing beginning roughly around fall 2018 in our African-American students as well. So we do believe that at least from where we sit, that this program is helping to create that pipeline and adding more students into our university who are from underrepresented backgrounds within our teacher education programs.
One of the key program elements that we would like to highlight are the benefits it offers to both students and the university. For students, they will gain more information about the teaching field to help build their interest in deciding to go into the field. We also help them build various skills, including leadership abilities, college math and writing, and college readiness skills. At the conclusion of our 2-week summer institute, students are awarded a $200 stipend, the ability to take college courses while still in high school, and they receive mentoring and guidance during the application and course taking process. For the institution, this program enables the college to create its own feeder program. It helps to shape students' perceptions of UD as an in-state option for them. and it enables and it enhances and complements other recruitment strategies that college carries out. This program provides an additional layer of infrastructure for student support that students receive prior to enrollment. We create a space to welcome our students so that when they enroll, they already have people they know that support them. Lastly, our program enables students to gain access to the college's faculty, staff, and resources, which provides a greater exposure for the college to a diverse group of students they may not have reached otherwise.
So in terms of our future plans, as we begin to wrap up our overview of Teachers of Tomorrow, we have reached the conclusion of completion of our grant at the end of this calendar year. The grant funding that we have received will be expended. We just wanted to quickly say that we are thankful to our former dean, Carol Vukolich, for her vision and willingness to write up the grant proposal for this program. We also want to thank our current dean, Gary Henry, for his support in keeping this program going, especially in the light of uncertain budgetary demands that need to be considered, but also his position of advocacy supporting our program. We also wanted to thank our director, Ms. Christine Ritz, for her dedication to the values and the mission of Teachers of Tomorrow. Also, we wanted to express our thankfulness for the Unidel Foundation for funding this initiative for the past 3 years. In our plans for the future, we're continuing to seek grants and other potential avenues for funding. And to help with that, we've been able to hire a consultant to conduct an evaluation of our program to help us quantify our successes and to offer suggestions for improvement. In addition, we hope that with this evaluation to be able to have research backing our case for funding. As our students begin, or as it relates to those who are in our first cohort, that have already matriculated, we hope that we continue to support them and to continue to help them matriculate and or persist through the University of Delaware. We want to preserve that continuity within the program. So we have student organizations here on the campus, one of which is called the Aspire program. And students within Teachers of Tomorrow are to be received by this Aspire program, which is designed to support our students from underrepresented backgrounds throughout the university, throughout their time, particularly within teacher education. So we want to continue to work with our students directly through the Aspire program. So we wanted to provide you, of course, with this overview of the Teachers of Tomorrow program. I know that we are getting close to running toward the end of our time window here, but we wanted to be able to open up the floor to some opportunities for discussion. I just wanted to see, okay. So Deandra, do you want to take over from this point?
Sure. With the limited time that we have, first we're going to see if there are any burning questions that anyone would like to ask of us regarding our presentation. If not, then we have some questions as well to facilitate a brief discussion. So feel free to unmute if you would like, or you can also post it in the chat. Okay. Well, we'd love to learn a little bit more about you as our audience. So if you could all use the chat just to let us know whether you are a teacher, a school leader, a school counselor, or a higher education professional, or if there is something otherwise that you hold in regards to a title. We'd love to learn a little bit more about the audience. Thank you so much for sharing, Danielle. And also, we'd love for you to share with us regarding yes or no in the chat. If you either have been a part of a similar program, a similar pipeline program, that could be at the college level or also at a more so school district level. But if you have been involved in a similar type of program and leading a similar type of effort, please post yes or no in the chat also. Thank you so much, Jackie. And does anyone have any suggestions in regards to our presentation as to the program that we're currently running? Does anyone have any suggestions as to how we could potentially improve our programs, or things that perhaps we have not considered that came to your mind during our presentation?
The question that Ms. Del Cole, I don't know if it's Ms. or Dr., but Del Cole had asked, hi, how are you? Is where did our funding come from? So our funding was provided to us through a grant through a foundation at the university called Unidel. And normally they fund various projects throughout the university itself. Sometimes it's just for things like equipment, but in other cases it could be for programs. So that's generally where our funding came from.
Thank you. I'm looking to run a similar program this summer in New Jersey for high school students, so I would love to chat another time.
Excellent.
Oh, sure.
By the way, I'm going to, and Deandra, you'll probably do the same. I'm going to put my name and my email address in the chat so that you can have that if you have any questions that you didn't want to ask in front of the group, or just realizing that, we've kind of reached toward the end of the day here. So here's my contact information. Deandra, thank you as well.
All right, I think we have time for one more question. If anyone else has another question that they would like to ask.
Oh, thank you all so much for attending. It's great to see some of the diversity in the groups and the individuals that are here. Thank you so much.